Good morning, friends. This is Ben back again with another wonderful brand new vlog. Today is going to be about my luggage system. As you can see, what I have with me is my DIRTSACK pannier system, or the soft luggage system, and I'd like to talk about the basic what's what of the kit, and then maybe we'll mount it on the bike, and maybe I'll go on a ride and share the details with you. Here we are on a wonderful scenic location, and today's video is going to be about my the custom accessories or the mods that you need to do to your motorcycle to be able to pull off long distances. So what we have here is, like you can see, I'll just go about showing you how the whole thing looks on the bike, and well, that is how it is. You could call it a fully loaded motorcycle, you could call it a semi-loaded motorcycle. I mean, of course it is missing out on the tank guard bags from Vietera, and of course you can make it a lot more front heavy to balance out the weights, the front and the back. But that being said, this is pretty much it. I at times have a backpack which I kind of place here, so it sits right there, and most of the times it's just this. It's me carrying my FROGMAN DIRTSACK soft cases or soft pannier system, and yeah, these things are pretty good. They take about 25 liters each, and I also have my top box, which I carry pretty much every day. I have it on the bike mounted most of the times. So that's the luggage setup, and then of course there's this tank bag from Rhinox. It's a magnetic tank bag, which I also have reinforced with these straps, and so they pretty much do the job for me. I am no big sucker for a fully loaded motorcycle. That means I don't intend on having more luggage than what I absolutely require, like a must-have. So that being said, just getting rid of some bits and pieces that have stuck to the motorcycle from the main rotor here, and so yeah. That being said, you let me know how this looks. It looks kick-ass. I am not a big fan of the hard pannier system for reasons. I'll do one thing. I'll go step by step. I'll address one issue after the other, or one matter after the other, and then we'll get a better idea of why is it that I carry what I carry on the machine. And so this is just overall perspective of what I carry and what I need. And this is also after the small little dirt trip that we took some days ago. I just cleaned the motorcycle like I promised to you guys that I'll get it looking smacking new, and you'll be able to see the difference. So that's how the bike looks after all that ride in the dirt. And so yes, let's get into the luggage system and the questions one by one.
How is the luggage, soft or hard?
Yeah, so what Ashi's asked me is, do I prefer a soft saddlebag style luggage, or do I prefer the hard pannier system that Royal Enfield puts out? So my personal choice would be soft luggage, because soft luggage is definitely going to be so much more lighter, and it will definitely be able to help me add more of my luggage to the machine without really worrying about the weight balance. So soft luggage any day, because it's also something that will not harm me in case of a crash. In case of a crash, a fall, I don't have to worry about the misalignment. I don't have to worry about the metal panniers getting crushed here and there. I don't have to worry about a hole in my pannier, no water leaking into it. This particular model from FROGMAN DIRTSACK is waterproof. So that's the whole of it. As easy as it gets, Of course, there are downsides to it, but we'll get to that in a while. My personal preference would any day be the lighter soft luggage.
All right. Okay, so how does it affect, how is the luggage on road and off road? What's the difference?
Another nice question that anyone could ask themselves before they consider buying any of these kind of touring luggage system would be, do they do a lot of on-road tarmac riding, or do they also have, let's just say, 20% or more of off-road riding? Because when you do off-roads, you for sure are better off with softer luggage, because this thing the whole machine is bound to fall on off-road sessions or off-road stints, and you really don't want to end up twisting, misaligning, breaking your hard pannier case system. And with that being said, it's always going to be a difficult thing to fix it in the middle of a ride. Rather, this is just a bunch of straps here and there and some 2 waterproof cases. So nothing like having this on off-road terrain.
Okay, so how is it with pillion and without pillion? Which is more comfortable for you?
Yeah, another thing about with pillion and without pillion is totally boils down to how high does the saddle bag or the pannier system sits at the rear of the machine. So if it's a little too high, of course the pillion is going to be having a difficult time. Also depends on the height of the pillion. I mean, especially their inseam length from the crotch to the ankles. So if they have a good inseam length, then of course they'll not have any problems. Their legs will come in like that and rest here. But if the bags or the metal pannier system is going to be sitting really high up, then it will definitely kind of infringe into the pillion space. So not a comfortable thing if you have bags which are too high up, not a good thing if you have bags which are too low. Almost always find a bag which sits right about at this height. I mean, totally clearing the exhaust system and the chains and the sprockets, nothing to worry. At the same time, it's not too high up so that the pillion has a difficult time sitting inside.
And you also almost always should keep in mind that you should not have your pannier so high up that the pillion kind of gets engulfed in between the 2 panniers. It sits right in between the panniers and gets caught up in there, because anytime you have a crash, you want your pillion to be able to just disengage from the motorcycle just as you do. You want the 2 of you to completely clear the motorcycle when the motorcycle starts sliding. And with high panniers, that is definitely a risky quotient. Please remember that in mind, guys. When you have panniers which are mounted really high up, your pillion gets stuck in there, and you don't want that to happen.
Okay, so what kind of gear do you carry for the luggage?
Yeah, another interesting aspect about soft luggage versus hard panniers is, with soft luggage, forget your computers and your 10 cameras and all that kind of sophisticated gadgets, because this thing will definitely transfer the impact onto anything that's inside. So this is not something that I would recommend if you guys are all about editing your videos while on the go and you have to carry this expensive laptop and related gadgets along with you. But that being said, of course, you can still figure out ways to doing that. I mean, have the laptop wrapped up in bubble wrap and things like that. I mean, all sorts of things you can do to figure solutions out. I'm definitely not denying any of that. But that being said, hard panniers are always a good place to go to if you are all about touring with your computers and electronics.
How fit are you to carry the bags to the room?
Another very important question as far as this would be something that can be easily overlooked by a lot of people, but then it's, I think, the most important question.
Are you fit enough to just take the whole system off your motorcycle the moment you're done with this long 1,000-kilometer trip and take it back to your room? And when you travel, you know how these rooms can get. Anyone who travels on a motorcycle would agree with me that this is definitely not going to be a luxury trip. Most of us do motorcycle trips as more like penance to all the crimes that we have committed. So we definitely try and make the whole trip a bit frugal, and so we end up finding these hotel rooms which are really hard to get to, and most of the times it's kind of in the second floor or the third floor or the 10th floor, God alone knows. So moving around with all this luggage, because you can't keep it on the motorcycle, because in a country like India people will be more than interested to check out what's inside, and if they like something they'll be more than happy to flick it and be gone with it. So because you have to carry all of this back to your rooms, and then the next day or the day next you have to get it back and mount the whole system on the luggage, the $1 million question that you ask yourself is, are you fit enough to do all of that? Because you're talking around 25, 30, 40 kilos of weight that you'll have to carry the moment you're done with this trip to your rooms and back on the onto the machine the next day. So it's a super important area that you have to consider. Ask yourself if you really want to invest in soft luggage, because if you're not fit enough to do this, guys, then this is a strict no.
How safe is the bag if you just leave it?
Soft luggage system is definitely not as safe as your hard luggage system. But all said and done, if there is someone who really wants to get to the hard luggage system and pick the locks, it's super easy. Can be done with a small stone, can be done with a spanner, a wrench, a screwdriver. I mean, it's no big deal. Anyone who wants to pick on a lock will definitely pick on a lock, guys. But that being said, this is definitely not a safe option. You will have to dismount the whole thing and take it with you to your rooms, and that has to be a constant. You have to do it every single time.
You do a test run. Is it necessary for you to do a test run with the luggage, with the weight?
Before you get going on a trip with all of this, another important thing that you guys can do is mount the entire thing, make a mock setup of the whole thing, have your saddlebags, have your top case, have your tank bag, have everything, anything and everything else that you plan on doing. I don't carry my rotopack system, I don't carry extra fuel. It's because I have never really required it. If you plan ahead, then 15.5 liters on this tank is more than enough. This bike has a very good range of about 450 to 500 kilometers, a full tank of fuel, and that's pretty much all that you need. And so if you plan ahead, you can definitely all that you need to do is just fill to the brim as soon as you get to the next fuel station. If you're traveling long distances, every time you come by a fuel station, fill to the brim. That's about it. Just keep that in mind and you're good to go. So yes, do a dry run. By that I mean, don't fully load everything. Load all that you want to load and do a dry run and see if this is a test run of sorts, and see if everything handles well. If you feel good about going ahead with the whole setup, or do you want to reduce weight at the rear just to feel more comfortable. So that's a must. Kindly do a test run with all your luggage mounted on the bike before you set out on your actual trip.
Apart from the luggage?
No, Ashi. The right question would be, how is the weight balance of the vehicle? Well, first let me talk about the motorcycle weight balance. I'm not very sure about the exact figures, but I think this would be a 55-45 or a 60-40 weight bias. And that is definitely not the best weight bias, I would say, in adventure biking. Somewhere around 50-50 or 48-52 is a good weight balance, but this is definitely super heavy in the front. It's not that heavy at the rear. So what you guys can do without worrying about it at all is you can load the rear as much as you want. We are talking 60 kilos on the rear. Added I mean, to a pillion. A pillion weighing 60 and another 60 kilos at the rear will still not put you off balance. Your front will not be feeling light to a point where you will start slipping terrain. So this bike is super front heavy. Don't have any fears as far as loading the rear is concerned.
Luggage affect the performance of the vehicle?
Yeah, the luggage definitely affects the performance of the motorcycle. It's because when you have a fully loaded motorcycle, you are going to definitely not be as aerodynamic as you wanted to, and there's going to be a lot of wind drag. You are definitely going to experience a loss of 10 to 15 kilometers per hour in the top end. Your cruising speeds will come down by 5 to 10 kilometers an hour. The quick shifting will definitely not help. You will end up knocking, you'll end up causing over revving to your engine. All sorts of nonsense. You'll have to ride this bike like a lame duck if you have it fully loaded. And that's all right. I mean, the whole idea is not to be ripping apart landscapes. The idea is to be sailing through landscapes and seeing all this beauty around you. And so I definitely don't mind having the bike loaded up. But yes, it does take a toll on performance.
So is it necessary for us to have racks for luggage?
Perfect. This brings me to the last but the most important thing. How do you mount this?
So now you will see me dismount the luggage from the motorcycle, and you will have a very good idea of whether or not you want to invest in soft luggage after this. So one clip here, and there you go, pull it out. One clip likewise on the other side. All I've done is just wrap it around, so it's no big deal, and we are good to go. And all that you need to do now is pop in the rear seat and pull the strap out, and there you go. Luggage system out of the motorcycle. As simple as that. So if anyone thinks that this is a super complicated process, it isn't. It just comes out in this can be pulled out sooner than you can pull out your hard cases. So that's that. And as you guys would already know, these kind of top boxes are amazing. Put in the key, twist onto your right, lift it up, press the red button, and top box out. So there we are, back with the machine. This is the fun of it, and this is the reason why I do what I do. I love this business, I love motorcycling, and the luggage is as simple as that. Put anything and everything that you want to put in. Keep in mind that no amount of advice is going to be helpful. You have to figure out your own luggage system. You have to figure out what you need to carry, what you don't need on trips, and for that you have to do trips. The first trip will teach you a lot. So on that first trip, kindly put in whatever it is that you want to put in, whatever it is that you want to take, and then slowly with the theory of elimination, learn the art of the right weight that you should be carrying, and not because somebody asked you to do this and do that. So that's my luggage, and see you guys on another video some other day. Ciao for now.